Welcome to the August workshop for Window Treatment Marketing Pros. My name's Will Hankey. Excited to have you here, excited to have you live or watching the replay. This month, we're going to be talking all about optimizing your Google business listing. So, this is by far the most important piece of your marketing efforts. This is the first thing you need to really pay attention to. Uh, for our clients, 60 to 70% of their leads come from Google Business Profile. It's that important. So it is more leads than SEO and paid ads, all of those other platforms combined, that you're going to get more leads from this if you have it optimized correctly. So we're going to be going through this today and kind of talking about different things you can do, what's new, what's going on now, so that you have the latest information, the 5 biggest issues that could be preventing you from ranking in that area. We're going to talk about our model to get you into that, what we call the 3-pack. We're going to talk about the best tools to systemize and automate some of the heavy lifting. And then we're also going to talk about how to get some more authentic reviews. So, not just getting reviews, but getting good ones that drive more people into the top of your sales funnel. As I mentioned, my name's Will Hankey. My business is called Window Treatment Marketing Pros. Our specialty is everything related to digital marketing, getting your website up, helping you with your business profile, doing SEO, paid ads, all the fun stuff, all the nerdy stuff that needs to be done in order to get your name in front of customers more often. Uh, if you have any questions, if you're watching this live, we are actually streaming to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, a couple other places. If you have a question on one of those platforms and you're watching live, you can put something into the chat and we will see that question. And at the end today, I'll make sure to pull that up and try to get through everyone's questions there. Now, if you've watched any of my workshops in the past, this is one piece of what we call our digital dominance method, which is 12 different things that you should be doing for your business related to the digital world. And some of these 12 have little pieces inside of there that makes it way more than 12 at the end of the day. But specifically today, we're going to be focusing on section number 2, your local SEO and your foundation of things that you need to do after your website is up and live. So, does Google Maps really matter? Well, let's look at some things here. So, here's a search for window treatments Memphis. If you look at that, you've got the map here and the 3 pins. Sometimes they're next to each other. But at the end of the day, between the map 3-pack and the first 2, what we call organic results in Google, that's 71% of the clicks that are going to come to your landing page, to your website, whatever it happens to be. That is a huge amount of traffic for those different searches. And the really cool thing is you can actually kind of dominate multiple sections of this. So here's an example of somebody who ranks in what we call the 3-pack, and then they have 2 organic listings. Think about this. If they're in these places, they're pushing their competitors down on page 1. That's the ultimate goal here, is to be in more places, and you have plenty of opportunities for eyeballs with that setup. If you factor in mobile search, which is a big piece of everything that is going on nowadays, you'll start to see that desktop not as important as it used to be, right? Uh, by far, you need to be on mobile devices, and on mobile, the screen is fairly smaller. So for most mobile users, when they're searching something like window treatments Memphis, they are looking at that 3-pack, making their decision from that 3-pack, and not ever even going down to the organic results. So very important that you're on these different platforms as well. Here's an example of a client that got calls this week, and all of the ones listed in his thing are GMB. It is the biggest piece of the puzzle. It's now called GBP, but it used to be called Google My Business, and we always refer to it as GMB. But same thing. So yes, Google Maps definitely matters. It drives calls, and you can't just do paid ads and expect to get a decent amount of leads. I mean, the great thing about Google Business Profile is it doesn't cost you anything. So it would be crazy not to get into the Google Business Profile area. So some new changes in the recent years. We used to have what we called the 7 pack, and now it's only three. You've seen the 3 pack, the three businesses with the pins and the map. Google is also serving paid ads, so you can actually get a fourth listing in the Google 3 pack now at the top, which is pretty cool. But it's all tied back to the paid ad side of things. Very critical that you complete the verification process. Almost all of our clients over the last 12 months have been pushed into this verification process where Google's really starting to ratchet down on making sure you're a real business, making sure you're legit, all that kind of stuff. And same for reviews. Those require real accounts now. So just random people can't leave you reviews. They at least have to have some sort of a Google account. So if you remember back in the day, the we used to have a bunch of ads at the top, bunch of ads on the side. That's kind of all been replaced with what we call the 3 pack. And then as you can see, that's moved up. Sometimes Google moves it down, sometimes they don't show it. But for the most part, you're going to get this 3 pack here, which is exactly kind of what we're after. And we want to definitely get into that area. So as I mentioned with the example earlier, the best thing you could do is just get in all of these different places, run ads, optimize your business profile, and then do your SEO to get ranking in the top of the organic results. You're going to have a ton of opportunities for eyeballs on your brand with this. Google's also done a good job of getting rid of some of these fake Google listings. That's not been a huge issue anymore since 2015. They've really kind of done a great job, and part of that is that verification process. But you definitely want to make sure that that all the listings are real. You don't want to create a fake one, that's for sure. You can see these are starting to show up everywhere, and it's not even a real company when you look it up. It's crazy that they're doing that. So anyway, that's what's going on. That's kind of the new stuff that's showing up again. As you know, I mentioned this earlier. Google Maps used to be called Google Places. Then they called it Google My Business. Now it's called Google Business Profile, or GBP is how we refer to that. We have seen some different changes kind of in the wild. The layouts have changed a little bit. In this case, you see three business names with the map on the right. And then sometimes you'll see the map at the top with three listings below it. So kind of crazy that Google's always testing different things, different systems, and different ways of presenting the results to you, to consumers, I should say. So they're always testing things, but at the end of the day, we just want to be out here, right? We just want to be showing up as one of the results. Now, there used to be a Google Business Profile app. That is no longer the case. So now you actually edit everything right inside of the search results. So assuming you're the owner of the business and you own the Google Business Profile that's tied to that business, you can just type in the name of your business and it will show up here right inside the system. And on the right, you can actually see a button that says edit your business. That also shows up at the top sometimes. It'll say you are the owner of this business, or you are a manager of this business. Click here to edit. So that is pretty easy to find and edit those kinds of things now. I have mentioned verification. It is getting a lot tougher. It used to be you set up your business, they send you a postcard with a PIN number, and you plugged it in and everything was great. That is no longer the case. Now they want to do a whole bunch more stuff, such as get a copy of your business license, maybe a copy of your driver's license, utility bills, a lot of different things. They're even making some of our customers start to do videos. So you see the video icon here, doing all of the different ways to prove that this really is your business. So let's talk about getting ranked in Google Business Profile. There's really four pieces to make this work. So it's not just getting into Google and optimizing and filling out your hours and that kind of stuff. There's other pieces to this. So, first of all, citations. These are mentions of your business around the web that refer back to your business. A lot of business directories. So, you could think of Facebook is a great example. You have a Facebook page that refers to your business, Better Business Bureau, Chamber of Commerce, those types of websites that are really business directories. All of those count towards the number of citations or quotes of your business, references to your business. Google watches those and counts those. So the more of those you have, that's going to affect how and when you show up in the three pack. Now, obviously, having your Google business profile optimized is a big piece of that. On page SEO. So this is where it refers back to step one of our digital dominance method, which is having a website that is SEO optimized, sending the right signals to Google about where you are, what you do, those types of things. So having that is a huge piece of getting more rankings in Google Business Profile. And I do workshops specifically on how to optimize your website as well. And then the last piece is reviews. So having a decent amount of reviews is really going to help push you up and get you more of those opportunities in that three pack. This is not a fast process, right? Getting reviews, I'm sure, as you know, is sometimes like pulling teeth to get somebody to actually leave your review, but definitely something you should be paying attention to. So some of the steps here, I'm not a huge fan of slides that have lots of stuff, but if you are going to screenshot one, this would probably be the one. Make sure you're doing all of these things. Make sure you have a legitimate Google business account. Only use your business name. So don't put ABC Blinds dash, we do blinds in Memphis and Nashville and Tennessee, and we also do shutters and Roman shades, right? That's not cool. That'll get you kicked out. So just your real business name there. Use a local number, local address, upload photos. This is something that's really going to help keep you current and keep uploading those photos often. Geotag your photos. That one's not as important anymore. And then list your hours of operation. Make sure you fill that out as well. It all starts with you claiming your listing, google.com/business. You type in your business name if you haven't already claimed it. It's probably already in their system. It's just an unclaimed business. If it doesn't show up in there, or if it's a business you're just starting, then it'll say, we don't see that one. Tell us more. And you'll have to fill out name, address, that kind of stuff in there. But once you get it up, make sure you're using your real company name. Here's an example of F&R Interiors that added in some additional words, probably going to get them in trouble at some point if it hasn't already. And then, as I mentioned, on the top, so if you do a search for your business like I did for mine, sometimes you'll see this right at the top where it says edit profile. So you can see that and you can click on that there as well. That'll let you into the back end to update all the things you need to update, such as business name, obviously. Let's see, business category, description, definitely fill out the description area. Really fill out all of this, like everything that you could possibly fill out, fill out. Make sure that you add as much information as possible into that. Now, let's talk about some best practices here. The first best practice, use only your real business name, right? We've already talked about that. Consider using call tracking. So for our clients, we always add a call tracking number to the system, and that lets us track every lead back to the source, which in this case is Google Business Profile. So having that call tracking number there can help with that. Update, geotag your photos. So make sure you're putting photos up fairly consistently on your Google Business Profile, and add new ones, fairly regularly. Leverage the Google posts by posting once every 10 days, more often if you can, but that's a good start. And then when you get a review, make sure that you're replying to that review and kind of sort of make it unique, not like just, hey, thanks for leaving us a review. If nothing else, copy the review, put it in Chat GPT and say, hey, I need to write a response to this. Let it give you some sort of response, put that in there. And then if somebody answers, or sorry, if somebody asks a question, do you guys have cornices or can you build me cornices? Right? Make sure that those answers get added in there when you get those questions so that other people that might have that same question will already see that. When it comes to the call tracking, there is one little trick here. So put your call tracking number first and then put your real number second. So you always want to have your real number on there, but put that as the alternate number. That'll help you keep your what they call NAP, name, address, phone, always consistent. For geotagging photos, as I mentioned, this is not nearly as important as it used to be, but GeoImager is a really cool tool that will help you do that. If you're taking pictures with an iPhone or an Android, they're already geotagged in that location, so not a huge deal. But if you have some older pictures or something that you want to upload, you can run them through a tool like this. I think this tool is like $9 a month or something. And then you can tell it, this picture was taken at 123 Main Street in this town or something like that. That would really help. But then the way people can look it up, Google will know where those pictures are, where they were taken, and serve better results depending on location. As I mentioned, Google Posts, this is the button that you push here for that. Add new post, you can put that in there. There's also a place for photos, things like that. But make sure that you're putting up different posts of different things that are going on, maybe a behind the scenes photo or a new sale that you have coming up, some sort of a teaser, that kind of thing is really good. And then, as I mentioned, reply to reviews. Don't forget that you should reply to every review, even if it's just a thank you. I would recommend you do something maybe a little bit more unique than just the thank you. But definitely make sure that you're replying to all those reviews because there's a lot of other potential customers that are looking at your reviews. And just the fact that you've reviewed shows that you're active and you're a legit business. It helps with the trust factors. Now, if you get a negative review, if it's a legitimate negative review, I would definitely reply and say, listen, Mrs. Jones, we're really sorry that that happened. Let us come out and make it right. Something like that. If you get a negative review that was just mean or had some derogatory things or something it shouldn't have in there, there is an option here where you can flag as inappropriate. And when you do that, it'll ask you, what is the reason? So why do you think this is not a good review? Bullying or harassment, profanity, any of that kind of stuff. So you can appeal to negative reviews if they're not really real. Like I think in this case, this one was not, they didn't even install or they didn't even do anything. They never heard from this company. So it was kind of weird that they got that. But anyway, make sure that you're handling those. One last comment about negative reviews. If you get one that's just mean, but it's still truthful, like it really happened, don't, you can write a reply to that, but don't post it. Stew on it for 24 hours, then go back and rewrite it a little bit, probably politer because you're not so worked up about it before you leave some sort of reply there. And remember, if you're replying to a negative review, you need to be a little bit careful about it because other customers are going to see that and understand how you treat customers from that. So be a little careful there. There's also performance. So it will give you some data. And if you already have a Google business profile set up, then you're already aware of the emails that they send every month saying, here's the Google business profile performance from your last 30 days. Gives you some really cool information in there about traffic trends, how many people looked for directions, that kind of stuff. Now, what could be hurting your Google business profile ranking? Some of these we've already talked about, right? You need an office in the city where you're targeting. So hard to rank in Seattle if your office is in San Diego, right? You need an office in that location, and an office could be a home office. It definitely could. You just need to have it set up so that it is specifically an office for the business. Don't try to spam Google with fake locations. I see some services out there that will let you buy other locations. They're typically UPS stores or something like that. Don't get into that because they'll just shut them down, and that will be a lot of wasted effort and probably some money that you could have put elsewhere. Um, Always have a consistent name, address, and phone number on every single citation that you list on the web. And we talked about how to uh, work through that on the Google Business System with the call tracking issue. Don't forget about not spamming your city unless it's actually the name of your business, right? So Seattle Awnings, if that's the name of their business, good for them, right? But if their business is really Joe's Awnings and they put Seattle Awnings, then it's not going to be consistent. Google's going to reject it on the verification process. Do you have enough reviews? The thing here is, do you have enough reviews across the web? So for the most part, we focus on Google reviews. Those are the best and the best use of your time. But Google does look at Yelp and Facebook and some of these other platforms. Sometimes they'll pull in those reviews as well. So it's a good idea to diversify a little bit. I would definitely focus heavily, however, on getting more Google reviews over the others. And then I mentioned here home office. Home office is not going to stop you from getting listed in here. You just have to have some things in place, especially if they put you into the verification and they want a video. Then you're going to have to take a video of you walking inside the home and going to the basement and opening your office door and looking at your office and having your banner on the wall or your logo or something like that. Make it look like a legit office, but definitely not impossible. Now, some people with a home office will change their setting. They don't want to list their home address, so they'll change it to a service area. I would highly recommend you do not do that. You're probably 10 times less likely to show up in the three pack if you use a service area over actually putting in your home address, if that's where your office is at. I mentioned citations. Make sure your name, address, phone is always consistent across the web. Make sure that any incorrect business information on some of these sites is fixed. Right now, we're submitting, um, I think, around 225 citations for our marketing clients. So there's a lot of websites out there. There's more than that, but there's a good amount of the main ones that you need to be in, like these that you see here. But there's also others. One in our industry that everybody knows is probably Houzz. That one is definitely worth getting your information listed on. You don't necessarily have to pay for their advertising or anything like that, but definitely be listed in their system as well. So there's Houzz, Yelp, WCAA is a good one. They have a full business directory. Facebook, some of your vendors might have an area for a dealer locator, something like that. Those are always good to have as well. And there's a lot of these. There really is. Some of these still exist. Some of these don't exist anymore. But there is quite a bit of these citation sites. Make sure your name, address, phone is always consistent across these websites. There could be a situation where a citation or business listing has your name, address, phone, but they don't list your website address, right? Google will still count that as a legitimate link back to your business because the NAP match up. So very important to keep all those the same, and all the way down to these options here, main ST versus main street. Whichever way you choose to do it, always do it that way. Same for Boulevard. Make sure it's always the same on every site. And don't do this. Here's another example of incorrect spam. These guys went all out with a lot of different words in theirs. So not cool. I even clicked on that and I think I went through to the website. And what is this? New York City Blinds, Window Treatments, Design, and Home Automations. When you go to the website, their website is NY City Blinds. So don't try to spam it. It's not going to work for you. They will eventually get kicked out of that system. So I would recommend you just don't play that game. Now, when it comes to where can you get some citations, there's a couple popular platforms: whitespark.ca, Moz Local, Bright Local, and Yext are the most popular. For us, we use Bright Local. No reason to use that over the others. It's just the one that we found to be the best option for us, for our clients. Now, with Bright Local, it will give you a report and tell you exactly how many links you have, how many are incorrect, how many are correct, how many you need to fix. And they do have a service where they will actually fix some of this for you. So in this case, on City Search, everything matches up except phone number doesn't seem to be found. On whatever that says, Silex, that one has the wrong phone number. So just go through something like this and fix it. We do have a free SEO report if you want one. Go to that website, wtmarketingpros.com/resources/free SEO report, and get you a free one there. Also, we'll show you reviews and ratings, how many 5-star reviews you have. Obviously, that's really what we're after here. And then if there's something wrong, it'll tell you that too. In this case, your business is not found on Facebook. That's probably not true. So that just needs to be connected up correctly. And then it also show you some of your competitors. What are your competitors doing? How many reviews do they have? How many photos have they uploaded? So the whole idea here is do more than they did, right? That would get you into more of the conversations. We also do some other things, maybe not necessarily related directly to Google Business Profile, but your on-page SEO does affect where you rank in the Google Business Profile section. So knowing some of these things around the on-site SEO can help you as well. So when it comes to citation best practices, the best way to do it is manually, but that can take a long time to visit 200 and something websites. So there are tools like Bright Local, Whitespark that you can use to kind of do the Pareto principle, right? Get 80% of the work done quickly, then go back through and only spend 20% of your time optimizing and making sure everything's correct. They also have major data aggregators. So these are the 4 or 5 typically databases in the sky that have all the business information, that deals that information out to thousands, probably tens of thousands of businesses around the country. So getting your business information correct in those is going to filter down to a bunch of other places as well. Some examples here to do. I mentioned Chamber of Commerce, obviously some other local clubs that you are in. You can also do a Google search for your city business directory, with your city being your city. And that'll give you some super local business directories that maybe somebody's running on the side. Sometimes there's even subdivisions or parts of town that have their own websites. Then we've got websites like Nextdoor that are really local. Another thing you can do is sponsor local events, especially ones that have websites. So if you do a sponsorship for the local T-ball team or something like that, ask them if they can also link back to you from their website, because that'll count as a link for you. Sponsor different teams, charities, that kind of stuff is a great way to do it. Now, if you want 75 citation sources right off the bat, wtmarketingpros.com/citations will get you that list and give you a heck of a head start on building those out for you. So the other thing I mentioned was getting lots of reviews, and I put real here in parentheses because we don't want to get fake reviews, right? When it comes to some choices here, so we did a search for Shades St. Louis, and we have 3 options. Made in the Shade with, what's that say, 102 reviews, A Shade Company 31 reviews, and St. Louis Blinds and Shutters 190 reviews, right? That's not bad. But there's only one that's in the top spot, and that makes it pretty easy to decide. And like I mentioned, people on mobile are making their decisions right from that. You can also start reaching out to past customers. I'd say within the last 90 days, load those into whatever CRM you're using and reach out to them, ask them, hey, we hope you really like the window treatments or awning we did for you. Would love it if you would leave us a review. We're a small business and kind of rely on those a lot. So leverage some of these different tools. Some of our clients will leave a printed review card that has a QR code on it that goes straight to their Google business profile. Hand that to Mrs. Jones right there when you're standing inside her living room and she's in awe of her new Roman shades. Hey, Mrs. Jones, would you mind shooting this and leaving us a 5-star review? We'd love that. Obviously, train your installers to plant that seed ahead of time and do a great job. I think that goes without saying. And then build these reviews into your company culture. Now, it should be said that you are not allowed to incentivize customers to leave your review. So you can't say, hey, Miss Jones, leave me a review and I'll give you a $25 Applebee's card, right? You're not allowed to do that. You can, however, incentivize your installer to ask Mrs. Jones to leave the review. And if he gets one, he gets 25 bucks, right? I think that's a really cool way to kind of drive some more reviews for your business. Now, this is a screenshot from Lead Boomerang, which is the CRM that we've built all around helping our clients communicate with their customers. And in this, you can actually send text message requests for reviews. Our service is called Lead Boomerang. So myleadboomerang.com is where you can go to learn more about that. You can edit these different text messages to get something very customized to what you like. Here's an example of some of the business cards. They don't have a lot of information, just a logo on one side and a QR code on the other side. We don't want Mrs. Jones to get distracted. The only thing we want her to do is leave us a review. So as I mentioned, there's 4 pieces really to successful rankings. Obviously, claiming your business is the big one, but having citations, having reviews, and then on-page SEO for your website. Those are the 3 big pieces to making sure your business ranks well. And then don't forget about Bing Places. We've talked all about Google Business Profile, which is obviously a ton of traffic for you, but Bing does have something called Bing Places, bingplaces.com. What you can do is actually optimize your Google Business Profile, then sign up for Bing Places, and then it will actually let you pull all that stuff in from Google so you don't have to do it twice, which is pretty cool. But typically, the older crowd uses Bing a little bit more than they do Google because it comes pre-installed on computers and they never change their search settings. So definitely worth making sure that you're paying attention to Bing Places as well. Now, as I mentioned, this is all part of our digital dominance method. We looked specifically at number 2 today, your foundation, everything you need to do to really get things moving in the right direction. I do workshops every single month. So make sure that you're always watching for these workshops, signing up for our next one so that we have that information. So let me jump over and see if there are any questions. I want to make sure to get those. Oh, here we go. How do you deal with spam or irrelevant leads coming from Google Business Profile? So you can set up tracking in Google Business Profile to make sure that the leads that are coming in are good. There could be a situation where the call tracking number that you got was previously listed on some other website that is already getting a lot of spam. So it could be as simple as just swapping out that phone number with a different one. If the leads are irrelevant, then it could be that you haven't optimized your Google Business Profile, put in the right categories, that sort of stuff. So obviously very important to do that as well, but those should kind of clean that up from happening. All right, let's see. Close that. I noticed there are AI results when doing a search on Google. How can I stay on top of this as a local company? Yeah, so everybody's talking about AI, right? It's a big part of everything you do. This really goes back to citations. So making sure that you're building those citations, that you're listed on a lot of these sites. We've actually built a website called americasbestwindowtreatments.com, and getting listed on that site counts as a citation And we've actually seen that referenced in AI results in the past. So definitely want to get listed on America's Best Window Treatments or America's Best Awnings, depending on what it is you do, or both potentially. But make sure that you are providing content. We talked about Google Posts inside Google Business Profile. Make sure you're doing posts that are relevant and have keywords of things that you do in there. That would help as well. All right. Let's see. With more people searching on mobile and through voice assistants, how should I adjust my local SEO strategy to secure a three pack? Oh, where to go? To secure three pack visibility. So I think this all really comes down to optimizing both your Google Business Profile as well as your website, adding content consistently on your website so that Google learns about who you are, where you are, and what you do, and putting that into your content without being spammy, putting that information in there and answering all the different questions that people could potentially ask. You probably get phone calls every single day with questions about the same kind of stuff. So if you're getting questions about that on calls, there's probably hundreds of other people thinking that same thing and maybe not coming across you to get that answer. So why not build something to get that answer out there? All right. I think that might be all. Yeah, I don't see any other questions. All right. All right. Let me jump back over here and finish up these slides. Thanks again for jumping on today. I really do appreciate it. Got a couple free things for you. A copy of my 10 Quick Wins book. If you don't have this book yet, this is great. 10 chapters of things you can do, like we talked about today, that can start to move the needle for your business to get you more leads, more phone calls, more appointments. So definitely get a copy of the book. I've got a box of them over here. I'll stick one in the mail to you and get that into your hands right away. Keywords. Here's a quick list of top 81 keywords related to the window treatment or awning industry. You don't have to opt in for this. You don't have to do anything. Just go to wtmarketingpros.com/keywords, download the one that makes the most sense for you, and then start optimizing your profile with those keywords. Now, be careful where you put them, but there are places to put those in there. And then lastly, if you want to chat with me about SEO and paid ads and your website and your Google Business Profile, jump on my calendar. I'd love to have a conversation with you, learn about your business, what you guys are doing, where you're going, what you're hoping to achieve. And maybe there's a fit for us, maybe there isn't, but I'd love to have that conversation either way. Here's a QR code you can use, or just go to wtmarketingpros.com/strategy. And that's it. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for jumping on today's workshop. If you have any questions, please reach out. I'd love to help you out. Make sure that you're pointed in the right direction. Lots of places that you can find me, and hope you have a fantastic week. We will see you next month. Take care.